welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Tracey, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use a pendulum for answers to your questions. These will be for yes or no answers only because, of course, a pendulum can only swing either one way or the other. But I wanted to make this video because when my spiritual teacher first introduced me through this through just casual conversation, I thought it was so interesting. And so ever since then, I have been just kind of having a lot of fun playing with pendulums. So in this video, we're going to learn what is a pendulum and also how to use it for divination. Of course, we're going to start this with answering the simple question, what is a pendulum? So a pendulum is a weight on the end of a line that can use gravity and momentum to swing back and forth, side to side, or all around. This is a typical crystal pendulum. This is the general shape that you'll find them in, just kind of in a point at the bottom. So that's like a basic crystal pendulum. The one I like to use the most is this one here. It was a gift from my husband. And so this one's just special to me. And that's why I feel most connected with this pendulum when I'm trying to divine for answers. So that answers the question, what is a pendulum? But how would a pendulum work to give you an answer, yes or no, to one of your questions? Well, to answer that question, I'm going to refer back to my video, How to Raise Your Vibration Using the Scale of Consciousness, because in that video, I actually went over kinesiology, which is the study of muscles and their movements. And I also described that there was a lot of scientific study around this kinesiology, as well as the doctors and scientists involved in this realized that truth and falsehood could be revealed through the use of kinesiology. So let's dive a little deeper into how kinesiology can work to give you answers using a pendulum. When using a pendulum, you want to start by making sure that you are centered. So I like to start just by simply closing my eyes and taking some deep cleansing breaths in deeply through my nose, breathing in and letting my diaphragm fill up as I breathe in. Then I hold the breath in tension and exhale. As I exhale, I push my diaphragm inward toward my spine. And do this a few times so that you feel nice and centered. And with these deep breaths and, tensing and relaxing the muscles of your body, you're actually making your mind more focused because you are now calming your mind and kind of moving your attention inward just by focusing on the breath. And then another thing that I like to do before I use my pendulum, of course, would be to cleanse the pendulum with sage. You could also watch my video, How to Use Sage to Cleanse Your Home of any negative or unwanted energies. That video was made just to show you how to use sage, but I like sage to cleanse my crystal tools before I use them, just so any negative or unwanted energies attached to the crystals could just be cleansed away with the smoke. So I just kind of let it flow over the crystals for a while. Here's what it looks like. All right, so basically you just have to set your intention that the smoke of this sage is going to cleanse any negative or unwanted energies. And once you're done with that, just connect your mind to your highest self. If you have to close your eyes again and take some more center and deep breaths, then go ahead and do that. But once you're just fully focused and centered, now you can find out how to get a yes or a no answer from your pendulum. So a lot of people ask questions and then questions that they know a yes or no to in order to find out if the pendulum is swinging this way or that way for a yes and the same for a no. So the way you would do that is like you would have an object like this is a pen, and I would say, this is a pencil. And then you wait, and as you can see, it goes side to side for no. And then you can say thank you or something, or just switch your mind so that the pendulum knows you're done asking that question. And then you could say, is this a pen? And your pendulum should swing the other way, which means yes. So as you can see, forward and backward is a yes. That is one way that you can get answer to find out which direction is a yes and which direction is a no. But I like to simply ask my pendulum because we have a strong connection. So I say, pendulum, please show me yes, and it usually swings that way. And then thank you, and it spins in between usually for me. And then I say, pendulum, please show me no. And it usually will, of course, show me the no answer. So now that you've determined a yes and a no, you can now begin asking questions. Now, some important kind of guidelines to go by when you're asking your pendulum any kind of question is first to put some thought into the question, because yes and no is a very straightforward answer, but if your question is kind of broad, then so is a yes or a no answer. So be sure to zero in your question, making it as zoned into the answer you're looking for as possible. And for some answers, you may have to ask multiple questions simply to get down to the answer that you're looking for. For instance, if you want to know the calibration of something from the scale of consciousness, you could ask your pendulum, does this object or this food or this water or whatever it is, does this calibrate at 200 or higher? And then your pendulum will give you the yes or no answer. But in order to find out the exact calibration of something, it's going to take multiple yes or no answers to zero it in to the number that the item or whatever in question would be calibrated at. So that's just an example. And another guideline that I'd like to go to let you know about is do not rush it. Do not rush the pendulum to give you a yes or no. If you don't have time to sit down, take deep breaths, still your mind and be focused, and if you do not have time to sit still long enough to receive correct answers from your pendulum, then it's not the right time to do it. So make sure that you give yourself plenty of time so that you're not rushed, and just make sure to be patient for the best possible outcome. When you first go out to get your pendulum, when you go to purchase it and introduce yourself to the pendulum for the first time, I would just suggest that when you go into the crystal or gem store, or even if you're just online looking for a crystal pendulum, just make sure to purchase one that you are definitely drawn to. You want to feel a little connection with the pendulum that you choose. So when you first bring your pendulum home, be sure to cleanse it with sage, or if it's high on the Mohs hardness scale, the crystal, if it's harder on the scale, then you can go ahead and rinse it underwater to cleanse it of any previous energies that might have attached to it. Otherwise, I do suggest using sage because that's an easy way to cleanse and clear any crystal tools that you purchase. So once you bring your pendulum home and you clear it, then you want to put your energy into the pendulum. So be sure to spend a little time with it, looking at it and touching it, feeling it, carrying it around with you. Just spend a little time with the crystal so that you and the crystal can then form your own bond and connection. Once in a while, your crystals will want to be charged as well, just to keep them in tip-top shape. So be sure to cleanse them like every 30 days. If you use it a lot, you may want to cleanse it more. And then you also want to charge it. So you can charge crystals in a variety of ways, either by the light of the sun, the light of the full moon, Or if you're more earth connected, then you can bury it in the earth for 24 hours and that will give it a little earth charge for you. So that is just a personal choice. Do any of those things. Cleanse your crystal, charge your crystal, spend time with your crystal. And then when you feel connected, begin asking questions and stilling your mind, of course, first, and asking questions and see what your pendulum has to say. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here. And I'll be putting out new videos, of course, so just keep your eye out for any new videos by Meaningful Motivations with Tracey Erickson. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.